Join me in this adventure to create this amazing doll. You can find it in my cookbook, the All American Style Vegan Cookbook. And we're going to make it. All of this, even the recipe to the relish, is in my cookbook. Today's doll is I'm mixing the spices. Here I have my spices and my garlic cloves in my mortar and pestle. I have my spices for the doll in my mortar and pestle with some sesame oil and the 3 garlic cloves for moisture. This blossoms the flavors of the spices. And you'll see I have several spices underneath. That top one, I've mixed in a curry spice and some coriander and cumin. I have the curry seasoning, which has turmeric in there. Couldn't find my turmeric, but it's in my recipe. I've got red pepper flakes. I'm leaving them out because I'm just not feeling the spiciness right now. And some another part of the paste is this combination. This here is the cilantro and garlic, and actually no, cilantro and tomato paste. And this is just caramelized onions. I'm going to use caramelized onions since I have them in the fridge. I have the skillet I fried the onions in. Still super hot. And I'm adding a cup of lentils. This time I'm using orange lentils. These have had enough cooking time to add, let's see if I can do it, the tomato paste, the herb garlic crushed mixture. Well, most of it came up. And then the cilantro and onions. Actually, I don't really have to add that. I'm going to get this mixture really rubbed into the beans, the lentils. And really get those flavors in there. I hope you can see a difference. The flavors are there. They are pretty hot. And it is time to add the broth. I have the broth boiling. It's the flavor of a light consommé. I'm using no chicken base broth. It's just plant-based broth. I have it all well mixed. Oops. I'll add more in just a little bit. When I can see the lentils above the water broth. In place of broth, you can always use the spaghetti sauce or diced tomatoes in a can, and it will turn out great. You can see some of the beans are coming up to the top. They're starting to absorb and expand. Add a little just to cover it. And usually the onions would be in there. I'm going to add the onions. The oven right now is on low. It can also be off and turned on every once in a while to keep it steaming. In my recipe book, I have this jalapeno ginger honey relish, or you can use agave nectar, and it is great. Instead of using red pepper, today I'm going to be using the relish, the jalapeno relish. So this is, the recipe is in my cookbook that I published in 2015. So I've been creating lots of yummy stuff, and this goes so good with soup. It is a little dab in the middle of the soup at the top for people who like something spicy that warms you up. That's what's going to go in there at the very last bit at the table. Really quickly, we had the lentils have absorbed, so I'm going to add more broth. Keep them cooking on low, helps them to cook slow. Become softer. Nice little bit of broth. And stir it in. Now the cilantro. It looks so beautiful in there. I'm going to put half in now and half right before I serve it. It helps to get all the flavors, and this is optional. I just like the flavor. It's a fresh flavor to me. Okay, I've got my spices and everything in there. Time to cover it and let it simmer on low. And just keep it covered for about at least 10 minutes. Here I am just 3 minutes later and it's already coming up to the surface. And I'm going to add the last little bit of the cilantro and spaghetti sauce mixture. It's one bunch of cilantro with a little bit of spaghetti sauce to make it blend in the blender. So I was able to chop it up really good and use the whole fresh bunch because I like it that much. But you don't have to add cilantro at all. Use what you like to use, like in place of that. Parsley would be great because it's so detoxifying. You can also use dandelion leaves. You can always use nettle if it's in season. Which right now it's not in season in the winter time as far as I know. But I could be wrong. You could also add spinach or even purslane. You can add plantain or miner's lettuce or watercress, only a little bit of that. But it is very bitter, and about a tablespoon crushed watercress per person in this whole entire pot. It's a big pot. So you can almost see the lentils coming up to the surface. And it's time to taste and sweeten and salt to taste. It's so quick. I just stirred it. So it is ready. It's perfect. It will be nice when I add the spice. It does need that spicy kick. It just needs it. But it's always good to add that separately on the top when you serve it. Oh, and I just turned it up to boil, and I'm going to allow it to rest. I just got it boiling, and the minute it started doing this, boiling like this, I turned it off. Now it's going to rest for 10 minutes. And then it's ready to serve. I'll put it in a bowl and show you. It's been 5 minutes and I can see that it's still hot enough to keep boiling underneath. But I can see the lentils are on the surface. They're solid and they're pretty much finished, but I'm going to leave it for the last 5 minutes. As impatient as I am, I'm going to let it go for 5 more minutes because it's all about the flavors. It's been 10 minutes. I don't see the liquid bubbling up to the top anymore. Time to put it into a bowl and top it. And we're done. I've got the relish, which is the agave nectar, fresh jalapeno, fresh ginger without the peel, blended, a slice of avocado, and the dal. Now this is a very soft dal, very easy to digest, that's why I chose the orange.